but
Well,
it doesn't hurt to remind.
Well, as far as me, I'm not really thinking it's making laying money in my hand, but I would like to know where the money wound up.
Well, I think,
Y'all were given that list.
no, I think,
We got to print out.
Not the whole,
well, and I'd like to see the,
no, we had a partial amount, but there's some money there that just basically.
well, by her coming back every 60 days and giving us those receipts would have helped us, and, you know, if that money's there, obviously, I mean, that's what we allocated that money for, and we'd like to see it go to that project.
Well, and let me say this, you know, I'm with the judge from this standpoint is that technically we've got two issues here, okay? I mean, it's one, but it's really two. One is that I think we need to address our issue with the previous funding to those at the board or whatever, superintendent's office, where we need to, okay, to find out, maybe get some accounting of that. The second issue is that obviously Mr. Merritt's always done us right from a standpoint of the VOTEC training and so forth. Well, and I agree with the judge. We can look at this as we move forward in, the fiscal budget next year if we can make it work. But the other thing, and I know Mr. Lund just walked in. He is awake. Yeah, Mr. Lund. Is that, let me say this. I really and truly believe that, again, this is taxpayers' dollars, so we have to watch it. We're just like everybody else, okay? But there's certain avenues that really the tax dollars directed for priority. My point here is that I really believe that there should be an effort of local industry, and I've heard the same thing, Masterson, from different business people and industry here that, well, they're not getting the training out there. But, it's easy to talk. Well, put your money where your mouth is, okay? Because the other thing is, we do a lot of what we can. We provide incentives for local industry to locate here and so forth. We try to be as supportive as possible, and it's a big cycle, okay? So I don't know if Mr. Lund could help you with that or what, but I think there has to be a concerted effort for local manufacturing to assist in this process.
And as I stated earlier, we're making that effort. I mean, we really have. Our first meeting with one of our larger employers here was very disappointing. Not saying that it's dead, that it's completely out, but it was pretty sad.
I know there's a lot of local factories, though, that would love to sponsor a program and see, people that would come through and that would benefit their factory from several, not just one, but several.
Yeah, and we have co-ops and things such as that now, but it doesn't touch all of the students, and it doesn't provide equipment. It just provides them with a warm body.
Right.
And then, but a lot of these, what we're trying to do here is create a more employable graduate.
The one you did down here was great, where they built those cabinets. It was great.
Y'all see these?
Yeah, these are amazing.
And of course, as we get better equipment, we can even do even better.
A lot of the CNCs, they're the same. They're just programmed or different. It's not a lot of them.
This particular one is a conversational control. You don't have to go through all kinds of G codes and M codes and all this kind of stuff to make it work. All you gotta do is just push position drill, give it an XY coordinate, and it goes to that point, and you drill the hole.
Now, have you spoken with your
Really
friend Mayor Crenshaw in regards to the city possibly helping out?
Yes.
What's his take on it? Okay.
I think one of the main things is
And that's just been very recent,
Okay.
last week.
this next thing is like before, it just got all screwed up with who's actually got control of the funds and where are they going to be, so something like this doesn't happen, no matter
Yeah.
what we do, to put it somewhere where somebody local has some control over it instead of.
Well, yeah.
If he was in there, I know where the money would have been.
This is where the money's going. There is the invoice or the quote.
Right.
We do not need the power withdrawal bar, so that'll save us some money. If you want to write the check to them directly, that's fine. If you want to give it to the consortium, we'll bring you a paid invoice. If you want to give it to me, I'll bring you a paid invoice.
Yeah.
I think though, actually, just to make sure that we're all on the same page, on the last agreement that Mr. Mangley had drew this up for us, actually this was to the Board of Education, so I don't want to make it confused. It was not to a certain individual. This was to the Board of Education. So this money was it's not been allocated for, or not been, it's not being, I guess I'm just trying to see, it's not like that, okay, well, we made it to the wrong person because we didn't. You
Well-
know, in this agreement, this was to the Marion County Board of Education. So I guess I'm just trying to, help me understand, there should be some, not to blame you.
I understand. But, and I understand your disappointment. As a matter of fact, even the money that was spent on engineering, I can't show you one project that he came up with, except for a lamp. They wanted a lamp design, so whenever 8th grade students come up there, they can show them how to make a shade, how to make a spindle, or the, whatever you call it, and then wire it. And that was it. We paid all this money for an engineer, so yeah, I agree. I'm just as disappointed. I've researched and found every one of these projects. Projects are not going to be a problem. I thought we needed an engineer to find them. We do need an engineer, or not necessarily an engineer, but we need somebody to draw them. But we got a CAD CAM class that we're using. We've got a pre-engineering class up there that we're using. Now, the process is slow, very slow, because we're doing that instead of having somebody full-time. Like I said earlier, I'd like to have a full-time engineer and a $500,000 budget and all these other people to go along with it. And then it'll speed up considerably. But this will work this time, and I can frame you and set across this bar right here all the projects that were made on this machine, possibly by the end of the school year. But now we've only got 8 weeks left, so we're going to have to hustle
Yeah.
by the time we get the machine.
But so I can tell you,
Is this
Yeah.
something,
I guess, though, that the engineer, though, that was actually hired back in 2011, correct? When we paid this $75,000, $80,000, I'm just trying to see, where's the accountability from him? I mean, because,
What happened was, is he had to report to someone, so he reported to the principal, but the consortium was supposed to guide him on his projects. The consortium didn't sign off not on one project. It all got sidetracked. But it's like anything that you start off new with. You start off new thinking this is the way it's going to work. It just didn't work that way. So then you back up, find out, hey, what did I do wrong? How come it didn't work? Fix it, now we're ready to move forward. I can't change the past.
Right.
And I fully agree. I'm just as disappointed as you guys.
we're in government, we know all about trying to make things work right.
is this something we need to look at in the budget, or something you want now? What are we talking about here?
Well, no, actually, I know you would like the funds now, okay?
Everybody does.
Yeah, but here's, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, is that number one, Kenny, we support your programs and so forth. But number one, I think this realistically, as Judge said, this is going to be something we're going to have to look in our budget, okay, for next fiscal year to see if we can pre-plan.
Well, the bigger part of it, I think,
Yeah.
this identified immediate need. If the city and the county were to collaboratively help to fund this, to
Yeah.
move this won't be added to the amount would be needed in June or July.
Well, what was the city's thought process to when they might be able to have an answer?
Maybe
so really, it just goes, Mr. Mayor, most things are never done as expected. Things are only done, people are only, they're only done what's inspected, not what expected. So, I did see in your notes, though, that you need $100,000.
that's what's missing.
Right.
$20,000 worth of tools that are missing out of toolboxes. The industrial maintenance class don't have any screwdrivers, don't have any pliers, don't have any wrenches. You're asking for industry involvement. He had a $550 list of tools that he needed just to have something to tighten the screw with. And so we sent out an email to all the consortium members to see if it was okay to spend that money. And Wilbur said that
You want the thing you draw there?
Wilbur furnished every one of those. But in the meantime, the instructor bought his own toolbox and furnished his own tools just so he had something to work with. So industry is participating, not $12,000.
Right.
But they're participating. It's $550 worth of tools we didn't have to buy. They're going to have more. But see, we went for 2 or 3 years without an industrial maintenance instructor because the state would not fund that position. And so the school board did pay for that position for a short time.
Yeah.
So they stepped up to the plate. But then we had a hard time finding a good instructor. We have a good one now.
Well, here's the key, though. Let me say this, and because I think the bottom line is that, we're going to have to talk about the funding and so forth, and hopefully you get with the city and we can kind of see where we're at and try to figure something out for you from a short-term and a long-term solution. But again, that's always been one of our concerns is that we understand the board is just like the court. They have limited resources, but you have this program, but yet you don't have the money to fund the tools. Well, or to buy this or that or complete it. Well, that's things that, when you pay property tax, 62% of that property tax goes to Board of Education, okay? And I know they've got a tremendous amount of cost. This court also has a tremendous amount of cost. So I guess one of the frustrating things is that I would like to see a collaborative effort of the city, county, and the Board of Education in regards to maybe this project, as well as maybe the Industrial Board.
I really have a hard time even asking the Board of Education for anything anymore because they have really, and plus it's a state program. The Board of Education
All right.
furnishes the building. They built the building, $8 million.
I understand. We gave about $500,000 to that building, so.
Total.
Yeah, we sure did. Plus the $150,000. So we've done our part too.
I understand, and I know you have. That's the reason why I'm.
And I understand, and here's the thing, I know it's a state-ran program, and I know the other side of it is that the state, you go to the state, and what are they gonna tell you? We don't have any money. So I
How do they
understand.
fund it? That's like an unfunded mandate they're always talking about. They
Yeah.
fund the position, but then don't want to supply
Well,
anything.
and it's just like the sports teams.
Don't
We
supply
have sports teams come in here and say, well, the Board of Education or whomever said we can have this sports program. Oh, by the way, but we can have the program, but we don't have any money to pay for umpires or gloves or bats or whatever. So it's continual, but here's the point. When it comes to educational opportunity, I think that's tremendous, especially technical education. Okay, so it's such high demand and such great opportunity. You work with the city, see what you can find out, get back with us, and then we'll rock and roll from there.
Okay.
Is that all right?
Things though, right? I mean, way I understand your request, you're actually asking for $12,000 right now, then you're $100,000 behind, and then you're wanting this to be put on as annually as well,
As a what now?
as an annually,
Oh, well,
request?
if we knew we had some money to work with, we could do a lot of different things. We can develop all these projects we want, but we don't have any money to develop them. Doesn't make any difference.
Right.
So, it really, we're kind of stuck right now until we have something. Just like this project right here, let me give you an example. This project right here is one that, I was making this is going to be an electric motor. And I was making this is the rotor on the inside, which we're going to use permanent magnet instead of an electrified field for the outside. But anyway, I was developing this and I thought, well, this is kind of complicated to make. Why don't we bolt the fields on? And then I got to thinking, this is a shame for me to be in my shop developing this right here when I should be developing it with a student. Look at the difference in the benefit. But look at the arcs and the curves. There's no straight lines on this. So I need this machine to help develop. I want to develop a robot arm. The students are excited about these programs, but we just got to have
Right.
at least one to get started. I want all 7 machines to be outfitted like this eventually. But that's, what is that, 90,000, 100,000?
Yeah, exactly.
So, and that doesn't count the lathes. We've got 7 lathes the same way. So, it's ongoing once we upgrade. And like I said, nobody uses rotary tables anymore or things like that. They punch it on the computer, let it, and do it.
So can you help me understand, Mr. Merritt, like how many pieces of equipment do you have right now that's actually not working? I mean, apparently there's more than one.
Well, you got to define not working. I mean, does the table crank left and right? Yes. Is
No.
the digital readout working? No. There's only about 2 digital readouts that actually work out of the 7 mills. We've got 2 mills with power feeds. I don't think either one of those work. The lathes, they're not in too bad shape, but there's limited amounts you can do to it until you retrofit them with some CNC type.
Right, and I guess the reason I say that because the engineer that was hired was supposed to follow through some of these projects
Develop projects like these.
and they did not, actually.
I made it lame. We've got to beat this horse to death,
Yeah.
haven't we?
Yes.
We beat Mr. Merritt to death, that's for
No,
sure.
no, we weren't beating you to
And
death.
let me say this, Mr. Merritt, I've enjoyed every moment of it, sir.
We certainly appreciate the insight and the overview and the vision that you have and the need. I certainly hope that there's some way that between collaboration between industry, the city, and the county, we can move these projects forward, so.
This is a little hot air engine I bought online on eBay. When you buy material to do this, it comes in 12-foot lengths. And that material to make 100 of these, which is what 12-foot length would make of each of these components. $12 project. How do you like that? Now, wouldn't that be cool to be able to take this home and work?
Well, if it's hot air, that sucker in here, it ought to be rolling big time, I can tell you that right
Don't get too close to
now.
this crowd.
Sat over in front of the elders watching rotate.
I'll tell you what, keep in front of this court, that thing it'll come off its wheels.
Oh, Kenny,
That's a little stinky.
you better keep it on this side, not over there, it'll blow you down over there.
That's a little heavy on this side over there. But this right here, it's got a little water in it, you heat that up, and that thing, it'll fly. You think it's gonna fly apart, it'll fly take off. It's $12 also if you don't buy this bottom piece, otherwise that piece at the bottom doubles it. But it don't have to be with brass, it can be out of anything. So that's the kind of things we're working on and trying to maintain costs while we're developing. So, anyway.
Thank you for all you do.
Appreciate it, yes, sir.
Thank you.
Keep the hard work up.
I've got one question that maybe Mr. Lunner, you can, like, before they did away with their maintenance position, what controls, like the state come in next year and say, we get all this started and going, I know y'all don't have control over, but who has the say-so? They just hired a new one. Where does that come from? Or the state vocational people or the?
We spent a lot of time and effort talking to the state, trying to convince them that we need it.
Industrial maintenance.
That's what I was wondering. And you would think used to be the principal up there is moved up the ladder, should help us in that respect, or somebody should.
Somebody should. I tell you what,
Make sure we keep.
and we've said this before, but I don't think our industry base here, we can't survive without technical training.
Right.
It's absolutely a necessity. As Kenny said, we met with industry earlier in the week. Their major complaint is that we're not getting a job. We are not training our children and our students that would like to go in this direction. We're not giving them the training. They had to move their plant to Mexico. They had to open a plant in Mexico to provide them with production. They're bringing the Mexican people up here for training. There's Mexican people up there being trained right now. So our people are training them down there, but they have to go there.
Well, if you've got local industry saying we can't survive without technical.
I'm saying this community can't.
Oh, this community. Well, again, the other side of that is, let me ask this, is the industrial board willing to go in as a fourth on this project?
Absolutely.
Excellent. And that was for 40%.
That's been our number one priority, the technical training. We've committed funds to it. Yes, how much did the industry's contribute? $750,000, I think, in machinery.
A fourth is 80%, isn't it?
We're not buying it. We're not buying this.
40%.
We're not buying this equipment for the technical school. We're buying this.
Right, understand.
For kids.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But that's what I'm saying.
And I think that's what we're saying is that right now, Mr. Merritt has an immediate need for $12,000, okay? So if the city were to work with us in the county, of course, the court here, as well as the industrial board, you divide that 12 by 3, that's St. Charles math, that's 4,000 apiece. So I'm sitting here in front of you today asking, as critical as you say this is, are you guys willing to maybe come in, play ball with us for part of it?
We're looking at hundreds.
Oh, well then, excuse me, Mr. Merritt, I think this issue's been resolved.
We are upstairs right now writing a business plan to take to industry. The industry asked us to do a business plan. Do a business plan and tell us what you're asking, the 100,000 you're asking for, what's that going to mean to us in trained people?
Excellent.
And we got to come up with a goal. Is our goal going to be 50 machinists a year or 25 machinists? We got to come up with a goal. We got to show them that these dollars, they're willing to.
Yeah, where's the return on their investment? Yeah, where the return on their investment, we understand.
And I think we can get all that done.
Right now.
What I
You
was
know where that's
kinda-
at, right?
It all revolves around
Another
the
meeting on
technical
this, separate.
school, and if they come in like they have, you never know what they're gonna do. If they shut that position down, then everything we've done, we can't operate that without that position, or is it,
We're concerned that they're going to shut all the technical schools.
the whole?
And they've talked about already, have earmarked or identified some that they will close down because they have not fulfilled their goals and objectives. So we're kind of concerned that they're going to close down the whole high school technology program and put it all into KCTCS, which is
Well, that's their focus is secondary education market, which obviously they've invested on a tremendous amount of our tax dollar in.
advertised on the Kentucky Sports Network.
Yeah.
And that's probably the most expensive advertising you can do. But that's where they're at. They got the dollars there.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, and these poor kids out here
Yeah.
are not getting the fundamentals they need.
Right.
So, but even in your annual report, when you presented that to us a few weeks ago, that was even stated in your handbook that you guys are looking to take the school over.
Well, that's been a proposal.
Right.
The problem is, if you take the school over, the state isn't going to fund it.
Yeah, then you got a big orange to swallow, so.
They'll fund it at about a third of what it is.
I can see the writing on the wall that there's a good chance that they'll dispose these schools. If they close these schools, technical education, we're not going to be able to attract industry without it. Because that's one of the first places we go whenever they come here with showing anybody the area, they want to see our tech school.
Have you ever seen anybody with more passion than Kenny?
No, he's
sir.
done more than his share
Oh.
for Marion
He's
County.
getting rich off this, he's doing this for the kids.
Well, he's just like Master Wicker, he's doing it for the kids.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, I think we probably need to have a
Thank you.
session
Thank you,
specifically
guys.
to
Thank
address this.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much. We'll try to follow up on that after we've had some other partners' feedback and move on into that.